What would you buy Prince Andrew for his 65th birthday?
I would buy him a plane ticket to New York to cooperate with the FBI.
Oh, Jack. One way or return?
Just give it one way.
Oh, that's low. No, it's not low. It's acceptable.
Not low. It's not low. Look,
low.
the guy is facing really serious allegations. You have to face him. You know,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
at least
for
a
me
return,
to decide.
not a one-way, a return.
What do they need him for now?
Well, they wanted to speak to him as a witness, and we never got confirmation. They were asking to speak to him as a witness, and we never got confirmation that it happened.
Well, if they want him that badly, why don't they speak to the government about getting him over? I think they want him that much. I think they...
He obviously says he's not. He's innocent, by the way. He denies the allegations. It's worth
He
saying.
denies the allegations. There seems to be a little bit of a social media tit for tat between possibly the Waleses and the Sussexes. Meghan launched her Instagram page, well, officially kind of on January the 1st, was it, when she was riding in the sand? And she's many videos in the last couple of weeks, particularly from Invictus. But William and Catherine seem to be doing a lot more. We saw this week the sketches that the princes, that had drawn and they put them on. We've seen videos of Catherine on a school bus. We've seen William with a social media influencer, a TikTok star just a couple of weeks ago. And on Valentine's Day, we had William and Catherine looking cosy for Valentine's and Little Heart, and then Harry and Meghan sharing a kiss on Meghan's Instagram page. Is there a subtle war going on between them online?
Well, you could put the kiss down to the fact they're 8 hours behind us in California, so they probably were going to do it anyway. It could be, but no, I think that's just it's flim-flam, really. I mean, social media. Look at it one day, it's gone the next, you know, and that's how I feel about it, you know. And the fact, you know, George's drawings weren't very good. I didn't think. He didn't look like he's going to have an art career in front of him anyway.
Well, they wouldn't tell us who had drawn what. We had to work it out ourselves.
There's one that's definitely much better than the others, which I suppose you'd assume was George because he's older, but it did sort of feel... I could imagine it being Charlotte. I don't know, you can't be certain really, can you? But I think there was 100% definitely a massive rivalry between the Sussexes and the Waleses, dating back to when they were sharing a private office at Kensington Palace. And this sort of thing, you would absolutely cut and dry say 100% massive rivalry. They would want to be competing and outdoing each other. So there probably is a bit of that. I mean, it's hard to move past that. I'm sure that there is an instinct to want to outdo the other couple, whether it's the Waleses or the Sussexes. I also think with Meghan, perhaps there is like the pressure on her to make her project successful may mean that actually that is what's at the forefront of her mind, that actually she's fighting to get back into a space that she'd largely given up. And it's quite interesting that Instagram is her social media channel because most of her fans are on Twitter. You know, that is the real core of where the Sussex squad operate. And Meghan hasn't chosen to make Twitter her space. She's chosen Instagram, which shows a slight bit of disconnect between her and her fan base. So
really interesting point, actually. Sorry, carry on. But
no, I mean it is. She is trying to exist. Instagram is great for celebrities, and celebrities love it. It gives them a slightly more positive space in which they can just, you know, their post is king. Like that is the key thing about Instagram. You post the picture, anybody who comments underneath it is subordinate to your original post. Whereas on Twitter, no one post has priority over another. Your entry into the discussion can be any post in a thread. You might come in at post number 27 because somebody you follow is throwing mud at Meghan. Whereas on Instagram, your entry is always the celebrity's post. So that's probably why she's done it. But it reflects the fact that she is now fighting to get into a very competitive space where all the influencers live, all the influencers are fighting for audience. And actually, you know, she would be well advised to forget any competition with Kate and William because the people she's going to be competing in are the other celebrities who are all also trying to sell their products too. So that's going to be where the real competition lies for Meghan.
the debacle around this isn't going to help that. The debacle around the Mallorca coat of arms and this business in New York isn't going to help her credibility, I don't think. Just a little bit on Prince Andrew. So this week, Prince Andrew turns 65 years old. Now, ordinarily, members of the royal family would get, you know, posts on social media from Buckingham Palace. Prince Andrew, unfortunately, gets nothing like that because he's no longer a working royal. I don't really think they'd want to do it. But we had a little look around the area on the day of his birthday, and I think there were some flowers arrived in the morning, and Andrew went horse riding in the grounds of Royal Lodge. Yeah. So quite a quiet birthday for him, but that's the right thing to do, isn't it? You can't celebrate your 65th birthday if you're Prince Andrew publicly.
No, absolutely not. I mean, there was a whole debacle previously, you might remember, about the bells at Westminster Abbey being rung on his birthday. And there was a lot of pressure on them to stop, basically. COVID kind of kicked it into the long grass for a while, and they were able to seamlessly just basically not.
That was your story, Jack, wasn't it? I remember.
One of the versions of it was my story, yeah. So, look, he can't celebrate his birthday. It's right that he doesn't. There are still really important questions that he should be answering, in my opinion. I think he should have given a deposition to the FBI. You know, if they weren't even trying to speak to him as a suspect, they wanted to speak to him as a witness. It was the least he could have done. He's now bringing more pressure and more concern for Charles with his relationship with this Chinese alleged spy, Yang Tengbo, who obviously denies being a spy. And we are now getting more and more stories coming out about where Andrew's getting his money from, which suggests that actually Yang Tengbo might have been, you know, the thin edge of the wedge. And there's potentially a lot more to come out on you know, him, one of your stories, Matt, in fact, him selling his contacts for pitch at Palace, and where those are going and who's benefiting from it. And, you know, for Charles, obviously, Andrew's going to need money. If he's going to stay at Royal Lodge for the rest of his life, he's going to need money, major amounts of money for the rest of his life. And if I was Charles, I'd be very concerned about where that money is going to come from. Because if he's willing to become a close confidant of a guy who basically the British think is a Chinese spy, who's asking him to smuggle people in and out past security unseen, who's clearly trying to foster a particular type of relationship that has rule breaking sewn into it. I mean, that is absolutely the behavior of somebody who's trying to cultivate a source, you know, an asset, a contact. I would be very worried about the Andrew situation if I was Charles. Well, the issue is they can't scrutinise his finances. That's one of the issues.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, they can't actually go through his finances, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, Andrew, of course, was offered Frogmore Cottage many years ago too.
And turned it down because the guy's got an ego on him, basically.
Yeah. One person who used to live there is Prince Harry with Meghan. Invictus Games has finished, Arthur.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch it? Was it a successful failure? Did it really break through this year?
I don't know if I saw one picture of anyone playing the games. I never saw one of that. All I saw was Meghan and Harry, and holding hands and not holding hands, and that just seemed to be the whole event.
Does he need a rebrand, a Meghan-style rebrand? Does he need an Instagram page where he can get his message across? And
well, you think about. I mean, you've got to think on the positive. You know, I mean, the Invictus Games is a good thing. I mean, what he's done there is brilliant, Harry, and then you've got to congratulate him for that. And the fact that Meghan this time went to support him for a few days is nice, because she's busy flogging her jam at the moment. So to manage to get up there and spend a few days with the injured soldiers was pretty good. No, I think the Invictus Games is probably one of the best things Harry's ever done. You know, I think. I've done lots of work with those injured soldiers. You know, some are missing 3 limbs, and yet they still want to go and train and compete in these games, and they get to see these lovely spots. I've been to Whistler; it's a beautiful place, and I think that's a great thing he's done. And the fact that, you know, Meghan's gone up there to help him is brought a lot more publicity to the games, but we never actually saw anybody playing the games. Now, when I went to the games in Colorado Springs, I got pictures published of Harry playing basketball with the injured soldiers and getting involved in the games. He doesn't seem to do that. He just seems to walk around and shake hands with everybody.
Very true.
Yeah.